Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 50 of the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. This episode is brought to you by One Effing Inc. Pick up your official Rock and Roll Beer Guy t-shirts or hoodies by going to the number one EFFININK.com/EFFINRADART. In this episode, I talked to Diego Verduzco of the band El Niño. We talk a lot about his career and music in general. We talk a little bit about beer and his desire to start brewing his own. And we go into a little bit of Freemasonry. I had a great time talking to him, and I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Cheers. Welcome, everyone, to the Rock and Roll Beer Guy podcast. I'm sitting here with Diego Verduzco. Am I saying that right?
How's it going? Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. And you play guitar in the band El Niño?
Yep, since 06.
Since 06. That's, when was the big boom where the band was just like...
The band came out in 2000, and that was the first record, Revolution. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they had their follow-up, which was actually sold more than their first record, which was Confession. So I would think that the second one was when they also had the single "How Can I Live," and that was on the Freddie vs. Jason soundtrack.
Right. I remember that one.
And then One Nation Underground came out, which was the last on Roadrunner Records, and I came in at the tail end of that cycle.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And where's the band now in terms of label? There's not Roadrunner?
We were with Victory. We finished our contract. We finished the option. So right now we're actually free agents. So we got a few offers on the table that we're kind of just mulling over, and we're trying to make the best decision for the band. You know, we're lucky that we've had a career this long. You know, even me as not an original member, I've been in it longer than the person who I replaced, which was Jardel.
Yeah.
And
it's 12 years now, right?
Yeah, it's over a decade of my life. So everyone's at a point in time where, we love doing what we do, but we just want to be smart, like every band should be.
No, of course.
Yeah. We want to be smart about what we're doing, the direction in which we're going to push the material, because we do have, more music coming out. Whether we end up doing another deal with another label or with Victory, or, if we find a way to self-release, we're just weighing out what our best plan of action should be.
Yeah. I read an article that you guys are working on new stuff. What kind of direction are you looking at musically? I mean, you guys were big players in the new metal Latin kind of community. Like, if you were into metal at all growing up, and a Latino or a South American or something like that, you heard of El Niño. Like, it was just inevitable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was everywhere, and I loved just being able to share that with some of my friends, because Latin rock is great and all, but when it's all Latin rock, it kind of I don't know what it is. Amongst friends, I couldn't really get into it too much.
Yeah.
But with El Niño, it was okay, this is more into what I can get into because it's more Americanized. There's, most of the lyrics are in English. They do say some stuff in Spanish, but, it changes.
Well, we're a band that likes to, cross those lines. The band came out, the new metal era. I don't really think that tag is, I don't know. I mean, I guess people still call us new metal, whatever you want to, but I don't feel like that tag really means much anymore.
No, it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. It's okay, guys, we're still here. We're not going away. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's enough people around the world that still love us because we still have a great career. We still go out and tour, still pack out clubs. We're still riding in a bus. Nothing against, not riding in a bus. We're just 6 dudes and, 3 crew guys. We can't fit in a van.
Yeah, and the older you get, the harder it gets to tour in a band, dude. You know?
Dude, I mean, I'm lucky. I only did a few, shows in a van, but I can't imagine doing tours in a van, much less touring months out of the year. So I got all the respect in the world for the bands that do that. Because, dude, how do you guys do that? I mean, I can't stand bumping elbows with someone in my own band, much less for a few months.
Yeah.
But to go back to the direction of the music, I hate the cliche answer like, oh, we're gonna come back heavier than ever,
heavier, darker.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking blow things up, and that's so cliche to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to come out with something that is honest to ourselves and to our fans, and hopefully make more fans.
Yeah.
So the music to me, it's just gotta speak to everybody. So yeah, we're El Niño. We're gonna have elements of being Latin. That's the sound of the band. We're never gonna stray from that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we tried, I don't think it would work. I would think that then we would get called out and be like, "Oh, you guys are Latin, but now you guys aren't playing Latin songs."
Yeah, or there's no percussion or something.
Yeah, exactly. No percussion. Where's the flamenco guitars?
Yeah.
I feel like then we would have a backlash, like, "Oh, you guys are totally changing your sound." I don't think at this stage, like for some bands to change their sound, it works. I think for us, it would just come off really fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we see with evidence of what happened with Korn, like they did a dubstep album, and that was like not a good call according to them. Like they had almost immediately reverted back to like, we're going to tour on our first album.
Yeah.
Because like that didn't do well. So yeah, switching like that would be a little too much. And I know you guys, as you get older and you're doing this for longer, it gets a little harder to write super aggressive things, especially when your life is going well, too. Like that's kind of when you're younger and hungry and kind of have all these emotions in you. You write this crazy, heavy insanity. As you get older, it gets a little harder to be angry.
I love heavy music.
Yeah.
I'm in a great state in life right now. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm doing really cool things in my personal life, in my professional life. I am so fortunate to be on an upswing in life right now.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't always been this way. I've worked my ass off. I've made some really, really great friends. And I'm lucky that I have a great family behind me that really helps out wherever they can. And, just really pushes me to be the best version of myself that I can be. The best thing you can ever do in your own life and it's the hardest thing that you have to do, is really shed those relationships with people who might not necessarily try to pull you down, but are trying to keep you down. The old saying, misery loves company.
Yeah. Yeah. It's rough weeding that out. You grow up with, especially if you grow up with a certain group of people around.
Absolutely, man. I'm from Santa Ana, California. If I would have just gone that way of hanging out with everyone who I've hung out growing up, I might not be where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I hope all the best for them. I hope that they're in great positions in life. But you just when you outgrow a friendship, and the hardest thing to do is to let that friendship go sometimes. And it might not even be because there's something bad that happened. It's just, hey man, I love you for who you are, but I'm going this way.
Yeah.
Nothing, no hard feelings. It's just I'm outgrowing the friendship, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Some people would see it negative or say like that's kind of shitty, but you got to do it sometimes, man. Like I moved out here 2 years ago almost, and it was 20-something years of living in Miami, and that was my life. All my friends were there. Most of my family has been spread out all over the place. So family never tied me down. What tied me down was being in a band down there for 10 years. Like, I can't leave because, maybe we got a show, or maybe we got to do this or that. And
Yeah.
You know, it finally came to this point where everybody kind of looked at each other and were like, this isn't really, we've got to do something. Yeah. So everybody kind of just went to a different state. But it's been the last 2 years that I've been here, more has happened for me in my career than any other time in my life. So it makes me feel like that was the right choice. You know?
Yeah, and you know, and that's the scariest decision to make sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like
behind everything you know.
Exactly. You moved across the country.
Yeah.
You left Miami, which most people would think that's paradise.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's cool to visit, but it's not really, when you live there, it's not paradise.
I bet you miss the coffee, though.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's been so hard. I found one place up here in, not out here, but up north in the valley. It's called El Cochinito, and they make proper coffee.
All right.
But that's, you know, that's after 2 years of searching and like giving up. Like, I'm going to make it myself. But yeah, going back to the band too, like you guys have always played that line of melodic and heavy. Like there's never been like, oh, you're just heavy, so if you go melodic, it's going to be a change of sound that people will rebel against. You know, you guys have always had both.
Yeah.
So do you think, I mean, are you guys writing right now?
We're about to start. I've got a few little demo ideas. My most of my time has been put into my place right now that I'm renovating. I am going to be building my own little studio downstairs.
Oh, very cool.
So I just been tinkering with my guitars. In the next week or two, I'll be setting up my rig and really digging into it. The melodical side's always going to be there. You know, that you can't ask Christian not to sing. Yeah. You know, he's the voice, you know, and again, if we said we're only screaming, that's like saying, oh, we're only going to sing. Mm-hmm. You know, someone's not going to like it, you know. Yeah, and going back again to the other question about like, what's the sound going to be like, you know, the cliche answer, we're going to come out heavy. You know, even those things are great, I still want to be heavy. Yeah. You know, because there is still a lot of, that's my cat going nuts, sorry. There is still a lot of aggression, you know, that never leaves.
Yeah.
You know, that's always going to be inside of you. And it's how to direct that energy positively or negatively. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different energy. You know, I'm only asking because it's like, you know, people will be like, yeah, our next album, we're going gent.
Yeah, that would be pretty nuts for us to do that.
Yeah.
I'll say this, you know, if it were up to me, and solely up to me, it would be music that completely shocks our fan base to be like, oh shit, like they pulled this out, you know, or to maybe catch some new ears and be like, whoa, who are these guys? You know, these guys are heavy, but they're melodic. You know, let me see what else they have. You know, our catalog now is 8 records and a few EPs, something like that. So.
Yeah. I think, 7 studio albums. You got 2 EPs, and you got a greatest hits album. I think you have a live album too.
That was the DVD.
The DVD, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is something that we would like to work on as well, like putting out a new. You know, who still has DVDs these days? Also, you know,
it's all about the YouTube blogs or
YouTube,
vlogs or whatever.
And you know, let's get something up on some streaming service, Netflix. But yeah, we still want to work on another. Whether it was a live album or a DVD, you know, that's something that we've been talking about for a while, actually. You know, we need to come out with something like that. You know, the last one that had, you know, it still had 2 members who aren't in the band anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's been a while.
You know, it's something I think that we don't just want to do, we need to do.
In terms of newer influence, like what are you listening to these days in newer bands?
You know what? I don't know I would call them newer, but I guess they are like in this new era. I'm really into Fit for an Autopsy.
Okay.
Right now, that's just the record's now 9 months old, 10 months old. I love that album.
Cool. I don't think I've heard it. I've heard of their name. And I see them at all the festivals, like the big festivals.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever stopped to check them out.
Great band. Heavy. I love that. You can just tell when a guitar player's got a really heavy right hand and they're just digging into the guitar. And when those chugs hit, that's the kind of stuff that I like listening to. And then I'm still listening to all my old stuff too. You know, I still love listening to death. Nice. I listen to quite a bit of black metal. You know, but I'll throw in some easy listening stuff. You know, in the mornings I can't. You know, I know lots of people that wake up and they slam the metal right away. I can't do that. Like, it'll just put me in a sour mood.
Gotcha.
You know, so I like to listen to easy stuff in the morning because I am not a morning person. You know, so to hear noise right away, it just puts me in a bad mood. So I put on something calm or sports talk.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
yeah.
I mean, I could go through my Apple Music right now, and yes, I stream music.
Oh. I mean, Apple Music's, are they paying people? Because I know Spotify doesn't pay anybody.
Nobody pays anybody, and we're all doing this for the
love.
Fun of it and for the love of it. Yeah, it's so hard. Yeah, streaming, I think, accounts for less than 2% of a artist's income, and that's if you are a big time artist.
And that's crazy considering that's where most of the plays are coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's listening to CDs or buying records much anymore.
Dude, I'm sure you saw the article that Best Buy is dropping music from their stores.
Yep, no more CDs.
And Target's going to consign the music, so they're only paying for CDs they sell. I mean,
it's nuts, man.
Where are you going to go get a CD?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, me personally, I don't listen to CDs. I mean, I get them. People give them to me, and I'll rip them and put them on my MP3 or whatever, my phone or Google Play or something. But yeah, I guess it's just towards. I still buy records. I like buying vinyl.
The vinyl resurgence is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't have a record player yet. I do want to get one because I have a lot of old vinyl I used to collect when I was a kid. Classic rock bands and stuff like that, and I want to get back into the vinyl because I do remember how good it sounded and how warm it was, and you know, the vinyl resurgence I think is so cool. I wish we had, you know, all our albums on vinyl. Hopefully for the next one we can definitely press some vinyl. Yeah,
if you end up making some kind of deal with a record label, maybe they'll push to like get the whole back catalog pushed, you know, pressed or something. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's my preferred method of buying music from a band. Like, give me a record and give me a download card so I could drop it on my phone and listen to it in the car. But then I also, when I'm home, I could throw the record on, and it's like a nice big piece of art, and you know what I mean? Like, it's a nice collector's piece as opposed to a CD. Like, to me, CDs felt very disposable, unless it was like there was a good time period where bands were releasing deluxe CDs,
the digipacks and stuff.
Here's a DVD and a cool fold out poster or whatever it was, you know.
I mean, yeah, maybe vinyl is the resurgence we need.
Yeah,
you know, to sell again, because like you said, CDs are so disposable. Dude, I got remember those old CD folders? I got 3 of them in my garage, and I look at the CDs. I'm like, oh, I remember this, but you know, I just put it on my phone.
Yeah,
and yeah, there was something really cool about having the vinyl and how big it was, and opening it up, and you
know, the linear notes with the lyrics and everything.
You know, the CD again, like you throw away the jewel case, you put the CD in your
booklet
with the insert, and that's it. You know, but dude, I don't even have a CD player in my car.
Wow.
You know, if you're buying a new car,
they don't have CD players.
They don't have CD players anymore. So I remember this past Christmas, me and my girl, we received a CD from her aunt, and I'm like, where are we going to play this? You know,
because even computers nowadays don't even have CD.
Yeah, my Mac doesn't have a CD drive. Yeah, you know, I have to use my PlayStation to play CDs. That's a note for up and coming bands.
Yeah, don't worry about CDs, man.
Don't make demo CDs. We don't have a way to play them.
You know what else is what I find crazy is that some of these new bands are whipping out cassettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Like, let's go real vintage. I'm like, dude, cassettes sucked.
Yeah, they were never good.
Yeah,
they always sounded like crap.
Yeah.
And you know, I get it, the whole vintage, and everybody loves nostalgia. That's great, but come on, man. Realistically, you're not going to sit at home and play a cassette tape.
Hell no.
And then like, oh, I want to hear that song again. Let me rewind for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
At least with the CD, you could see the time.
Yeah, or you could skip to the next track.
Yeah.
But cassettes are awful. Do you are you a drinker?
Yeah, I've cut back a lot, but I still drink every now and then.
What's your preferred drink of choice?
It goes by situation, by mood.
Okay.
If I'm sitting here at home, I rarely drink at home. If I do, it's wine. If we're doing like a all day barbecue thing, I'm sucking back some beers. Okay. If I go out, which is really rare at the moment, I'll go to a bar and have a beer. Pre-show, that's my ritual. I got to have a couple shots of some whiskey or something like that.
Loosen up.
Yeah. I used to be very anti-drink before the show. Now it's like I need it. Just kidding. No, but it does help me loosen up.
Yeah, it helps loosen up. And you got to just not go overboard. Like, I used to do that a lot. When I used to sing in a band, and, in the beginning, it was like, we're going to get trashed. By the time I get on stage, I don't even want to remember what's going on.
Yeah.
And I thought I was having a blast, but I would watch videos back, and it's just like, oh, my God.
I'm having the best show ever.
Terrible, terrible performances. But yeah, having a couple here or there to just loosen up is always a good idea, I think. Or even like right when you get on stage, have a couple beers like on.
Yeah,
stage,
I mean, you come see us play, you always see that we've got a couple little side beers. We've cut back on that too. I guess we're just trying to be more responsible. I think it's more of like a health thing.
Yeah, health is a big issue. I've actually cut back on beer a lot, and I know it's hard for people to believe that when I talk to them because I'm the rock and roll beer guy. But like, yeah, I haven't had a beer in weeks because I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to keep myself from from dying. Just have one little drink. A whiskey drink is better than having 10 beers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard too because my day job is working in a brewery, so I go to bar every day, and some of these bar managers just hand me beers the second I walk in.
I want to get into brewing my own beer.
Yeah,
that's something that I've wanted to do for a long time.
Have you looked into it at all?
I have. I mean, it's a little pricey to get all the little setup.
You could do a small setup here for about $300.
Okay,
that's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
If you want to get crazy, then yeah. If you want to start getting bigger and bigger, but you can make like a good 5-gallon batch here for about $300 to $400 tops.
Okay. Yeah, I got a buddy who's been brewing his own beer for a few months, and he just warned me like, "Hey, it's a lot of fun, but it adds up after a minute."
Yeah, ingredients are the most costly.
Yeah.
Once you get the gear and everything, it's it's a one-time fee, but buying grains and buying hops and all that stuff does get pricey. So are you into? I'm assuming then you've gotten into the craft beer thing around here.
I tried it, man. I'm not really into the hoppiness of most of them.
Okay, so you're not a big IPA guy.
Not really. I mean, I'm starting to develop a small taste for them to the point where if you offer me one, I'll take it, but I'm not going to go to the store and buy an IPA. Like I'll still stick to my
lagers and pilsners.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So, I mean, I know Adam and Carissa.
Yeah.
Adam's lately been really into the super hoppy, like the hoppier the better.
Yeah.
He's gotten. I mean, he and I worked together with a brewery in Florida, and they made the Kill Switch beer.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the whole plan the whole time. He's like, I want just pure hops. So can we put pine needles in it? It just needs to be the piniest, most hoppiest thing. I'm like, all right, cool. But that was fun. Yeah, if you do, I've been in the beer industry for 6-7 years. So if you need any pointers or anything, I can help.
Yeah, man. Once I get started,
Yeah,
I think I'll probably get started, this year.
Yeah, once you're done remodeling the house.
Yeah, once I'm done remodeling the house, working on everything, getting some new music out there, then I'll get into the brewing.
Well, that's cool, man. I mean, it is a fun hobby to do. It gives you something to appreciate the craft of it when you see how much work actually goes into it, and
yeah,
it might open you up to more possibilities once you start making your own. Like, maybe I'll try an IPA. Have you gotten into stouts or anything? Or?
Yeah, I do like some stouts. What is that one called that I like?
Rasputin.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
Rasputin.
it's a standard stout. Like everybody has appreciation for old Rasputin.
That one and a Young's double chocolate stout.
Oh yeah.
That one's really good. That's a delicious one, actually.
Yeah.
That Rasputin, I remember that one was really good.
Yeah, they have a couple of every year I think they do a barrel aged variant. And
Okay.
they'll do like bourbon barrels or rum or tequila or whatever they decide to do that year. I'm a big fan of the bourbon one because it does add layers to it, layers of flavor, and you have to let it sit too though, because once it comes out fresh, it's super boozy. It just tastes like straight up whiskey and wood. But if you let it rest for a little bit, it kind of, it makes it a little more subtle and adds just a whole bunch of layers of flavors to it. Sorry. Well, that's cool. I wanted to bring, music and beer up. But then I also wanted to talk to you because I've noticed on your social media, and I'm noticing by sitting here in your place, that you are a Freemason.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this, because I had a run-in with some Freemasons in Peru. Not a run-in. It wasn't like a problem. But I met a few of them out there, and we did a lot of talking. And when I was talking to them, they were kind of offering me to join. But they presented it in a way where they're like, you need to get rid of your basically your lifestyle, which was tattoos and music and alcohol and all that. Like, debaucherous lifestyle cannot exist while you're in.
Totally untrue.
Okay.
Yes, it's suggested that you're not debaucherous, but that should be, everybody's life. You shouldn't be.
Well, right. You
Avoid excess of anything.
Yeah.
Extremism of any kind is usually bad.
Mm-hmm.
I am a part of a lodge here in California, in Newport Beach. We have a lot of tattooed guys in my lodge.
Okay.
That's totally not a rule that you can't be tattooed. I mean, look at me, I'm covered.
Yeah. Could it have been a thing in the past, and maybe they've recently loosened up the rule?
It would be more of like stereotypical, I guess. Tattooed guys must be criminals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Masonry has its own things where, just like everyone else, there was a preconceived notion. But no, you don't have to get rid of your lifestyle. That's kind of silly. We celebrate being individuals, and the best part of Masonry is that we are all different and we coexist completely peacefully with each other. Yeah, the notion that you have to be rich or a certain bloodline or stuff like that, that's all false and falls into like Hollywood or conspiracy theories or something.
Illuminati,
like that.
man.
Illuminati, yeah.
I mean, I've done a little bit of searching into it. And once I talked to these folks in Peru, they gave me a couple books. They gave me this one called El Manual del Maestro Secreto, which is the manual of the master secret.
Mm-hmm.
And I also I was given the Morals and Dogma of Freemasonry. It was a big old book.
Long, boring book.
Yeah.
Well, it's not boring, but if you don't know,
it's full of crazy information that I was just like, wow, okay.
I got a copy of Morals and Dogma before I was a Mason, and I peeked through it, and I couldn't understand a damn thing.
There's a lot of mathematics in there, a lot of geometry.
Yeah, now I understand it, and but back then, if you're not a Mason and you're peeking in, thinking that you're looking at all this secret knowledge, like, you're not going to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, people who Google handshakes and secret words, like, you can learn them all day long. Sure, they're on the internet. There's people who've released those secrets, but quite honestly, I would know if you were or were not one. Mm-hmm. And no, you cannot sneak into a lodge and sit with one of our meetings. Well, we know when you are not one.
Sure,
it's very simple.
Yeah.
We know when someone's faking. We know when someone wants to get in for the wrong reasons.
Sure,
the right reasons. It's just, if you want to be a Mason, the right reasons would be just that you want to be a better version of yourself.
Okay.
You want to be around people who bring out the best in you. You know, and that's what's really Freemasonry is all about. It's about being the best version of yourself that you possibly can be for yourself, for your family, for your community. That's the best part of Masonry, the camaraderie with other guys, you know, and it's not this, you know, the best way they put it is that we're not a secret society. We're a society with secrets. And secrets aren't bad. You know, there's nothing that we're doing in that room that is planning to take over someone's, you know, life or country or anything like that. Those are all conspiracy theories.
Well, yeah, and it all falls into people's egos for, like, you know, and I hear the same thing when I have friends that have, like, devices, their phones or like a Kinect for their Xbox, and they're like, I got to shut it down. I got to put a tape over my camera thing because they're listening. I'm like, they're not listening. No one cares. You're not, like, you know what, like, all this malicious intent, like, your ego is making you think that you're that important, that people want to pay attention to what you're doing at home. Like, it's not that.
Well, conspiracy theories are fun.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, we all enjoy a good conspiracy theory. You know, lately it's flat earthers.
Oh, my God.
You know, I thought we discussed this how many hundreds of years ago, the Earth's round.
We just had a ship take off yesterday out of SpaceX with a camera attached to it, and you could see it right in the background.
Yeah.
But, okay, so there's a lot of information out there, but it's all very muddled, and you know, none of it, we don't know what's real or what's not that's out there. I mean, from one side, I've read, you know, that the Freemasons do a lot of charity work. They do a lot of work, you know, building parks and working with the Rotary Club and all that to get, and especially in New Jersey where I'm from, they worked, Rotary and the Freemasons worked together to, like, build parks and hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah, the statistic is Freemasons in the United States donate $2 million a day towards charities.
A day
towards charities.
Wow.
You know, like I'm sure you heard of a Shriners Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
To be a Shriner, you have to be a Master Mason. If you go to a Shriners Hospital as a kid, your medical bills are completely covered by the Shriners.
Wow.
So the children get the help that they need at no cost to them or the family. You know, it's a lot of the times for anybody who's in that kind of a medical situation, how much of a relief it is that people who are complete strangers are doing it for no other cause other than to help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that in itself is the reward, is helping somebody. You know, so yeah, you know, we do a lot of charity work. We donate a lot of time. You know, time's priceless. You can't get it back.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing something, you know, simple, like we go to a soup kitchen and help feed the homeless, like that's time well spent. You know, it's helping someone who might not be able to help themselves. You know, these children, they go to Shriners hospitals. You know, most of the time their parents can't afford these medical bills. I mean, I can't afford these medical bills if it were me in those situations.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I haven't had kids. I mean, I'm ready, mentally,
terrified.
but you know, my entire life would be ruined financially if I had a child right now.
Yeah, you ready to pay just the bill for the birth of the child?
Yeah, just those bills.
Yeah, not even the fact that you still have to clothe them, feed them, raise them,
follow-ups,
yeah,
you know, immunizations and all that.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear that, you know, they're doing good work. And then also, just like there's the conspiracy theories, but you guys, like, you could find it online, like the morals and dogma and all that stuff. Like, they keep talking about the royal secret, and like I was mentioning, there's a lot of geometry involved and you know, symbols and all that stuff. What is, like, can you talk about that? Like, what is that about? Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not going to say what I'm not supposed to say.
Sure.
I took an oath for that.
Yeah.
And I take that one seriously. But like the signs, I mean, they're all metaphors. And they're all metaphors, and they show you how to live a better, more virtuous life. You know, it's nothing that would be against anything. There's nothing nefarious in it. We just use them as symbols, and you know, the stories are allegories. Stories are allegories. Yeah, there's just it's so much to talk about. We could fill up,
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours.
So, how long have you been doing it?
Almost 3 years.
Would you say that that is that upswing that you were mentioning?
That's a big part of it.
A
Absolutely.
big part of it.
Yeah. I've met some really good men that are, like I said, they're like-minded, and they help, lift me up. It's kind of like a big support system, mental support system. I'm not saying like they give me money or anything like that. It's like,
Sure.
it's like if you need advice on a big decision, like we've been talking about, like
Buying a house or something.
buying a house, or hey man, should I make this move? We have the best intentions for everyone around us, and it's about letting go of ego,
which is very important.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the biggest divisiveness in humanity is most likely ego.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what's going on in our current political climate. It's a lot of egos. It's always been a lot of egos.
It's just more up front and obvious right now than it has ever been,
Exactly. We help each other out,
It's funny you bring that up. I was having a conversation last night about that, about our political climate, and I'm not trying. Like, when I was younger, I got really political and like gung ho about revolutions and this and that and the other because it's in my blood too. I mean, my family's from Cuba, and my grandfather was part of the party of people that took over and all that stuff. So it was in me to kind of follow that. But then, as I've gotten older, I've just like, nah, I don't have the time to pick a side or whatever.
Yeah.
And the one thing I was telling my friend, I'm like, this might be controversial or whatever, but I think Trump is exactly what we needed. He's awful, but
you know what?
It
could be a giant purge. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's what we need to show us what we shouldn't be.
Right. Exactly. Like this is like, I want everyone to like, that is the right reaction. I want you to look on the TV and go, really?
Yeah.
That's the president? Like, where did we go wrong?
Yeah, it's getting to the point where just turning on the TV is getting very nauseating.
Yeah.
It's like, what did he say today? Who did he childishly make fun of today? Dude, he's a TV star. Mm-hmm. He's a reality TV personality. He's a wannabe thug, wannabe mob boss, and that's the way he's trying to run things. And man, that's not the way it should be. There's a better way. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that Democrats know the right way.
No. It's all a game.
Yeah, there's room for everyone, man. Like, everyone's needs can be met. Everyone's best interests should be at the forefront of our government. That's what government's for. Mm-hmm. Why do we have a government otherwise? It's supposed to be so that it protects its citizens.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be run by us.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the people in Congress, they forget that they're supposed to be listening to their constituents. And, you don't make the decisions, we do. Mm-hmm. We put you there, we can take you out by voting, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. Not the forceful Cuban way.
Exactly. I would hate to get to the point where that's what we need. That's sad. Like, this is it's a great country.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world, and my eyes have been open, my ears have been open. And you know what? I'm extremely fortunate to have traveled, to have made friends around this world, to know and see for myself that we're not really that different than anyone else. I love my country, sure, and everyone in a different country can say my country is the best, and that's okay. Like,
take pride in where you're from.
Take pride in where you're from. Take pride in who you are. When something's wrong, fix it. Something's always going to be wrong, or something can always be improved upon. But like you said, yeah, maybe we did need him to bring out all the ugly and put it on the table, and let's talk about it and find a way to fix this.
Yeah, I described him as like a giant mirror for a lot of America. Like, I don't fall into those categories and I'm not just saying like I'm better than anyone. I really don't follow it. Like my biggest concerns in my life are making sure my family's good and making sure I'm listening to music. Like I don't really, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I love music, I love beer, and I love my family, and that's all that matters. Like I don't pay attention to the political game because I am not in it. I am not trying to be a part of it. So, that's why I exclude myself from that scenario. But when I look at the general, what we have going on in America, like, yeah, we needed to have a little mirror so people could be like, oh man, like, what did we do wrong? Let's fix that. Hopefully, because who knows? Now I'm hearing rumors that next year or whatever, 2020, it's like The Rock and Oprah.
We don't need more TV personalities or movie personalities.
No. But okay, so this is a question that pops in my head. Like, you're talking about what's going on in politics, and I've always had the impression that Freemasons are heavily involved with the government, or that there are members of it in there.
What is it called?
The Skull and Bones, or
no, that's
not different. That's
different. Yeah. Are there Freemasons in politics? Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Are they running the show? No.
No.
Is there a dark state? No. You want to see what's really pushing the buttons and directing things? It's the corporations, man. Mm-hmm. That's the fact of the matter. We can't have universal health care because that means pharmaceutical companies aren't making the big bucks. Mm-hmm.
Which is why marijuana is still illegal in most places.
Yeah.
Because they got to figure out how to make money off of it.
And which they will. They're already starting to do that now. Yeah. You're looking at all the legal states. The people who are making money are the big corporations that jumped in and like, we might as well get in on this. Mm-hmm. Things are changing, dude. It's not marijuana nowadays is not a big thing. Yeah, I'm not into it. I don't got anything against people who do. Mm-hmm. No, but Freemasons being the dictators of where things are going to go. Nah, that's again conspiracy theory.
One of the reasons I got so attracted to it too, and the reason I went to Peru in the first place, is I had a really bad car accident, and during my time out, because I was out apparently, physically, scientifically dead for a little bit of time, I ended up seeing some stuff that I had no explanation for. So I started trying to figure it out by just reading a lot of books and traveling and meeting people. I met I was at their offices out there in Peru at one of the branches, and just trying to figure out what it was that I saw, why it is that I feel that I came face to face with what reality is and why we're here and why we were created and all that. And I don't like talking about it too much because, everybody has their opinion as to why we're here or what religion they're in or whatever. But I felt that I saw some stuff. And when I explained it to these guys in Peru, they were like, you should probably read these books. And they gave me a couple books, and it's like, So it brings me to what do they know? Like, I know you're not allowed to talk about it, but it's like, what do they know? Am I right? Is that the master secret? Are we all just energy condensed and living in a specific frequency that's determined by geometric shapes and all this? Like, I don't know.
It's for each person to find out for themselves.
Okay.
Because it may be different for you than it is for me.
Yeah.
Because then that would then create the situation where one of us is wrong.
Okay.
So if you kind of catch what I'm saying, like, it is up to you to find your own way. And you can ask for help along the way, and a good person should help you find what you're looking for if they know how. And it's irresponsible to point you in a direction that they know is wrong, or if they don't know where to go, But seek your own truth. Whether it's a magical man in the sky or, you're just one with the earth and the universe. What do you feel in your soul that is true? Most of us believe in a soul. So what do you believe to be true? And when you know it's right, you feel it.
Yeah.
I know that I'm personally on my right spiritual path, so I've at least come to the notion that it's right for me, but it might not be right for you.
Right.
And no one has the right to tell you you're wrong. Unless, of course, it's harming somebody, including yourself. Obviously it's your life. And if you want to, cut your fingers off, go ahead.
Sure.
I'm going to say, hey, that's probably not the wisest decision, but to find your own maker, that's your maker.
Yeah. So they don't so the Freemasons don't have like a specific set of rules like, hey, this is a God, this is God, and these are the
No, we're not a
rules, and
church.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
The only rule is that you believe in a higher power, so it doesn't matter if that's Jesus, if that's, Allah, yourself, as long, dude, I don't care if you believe that my little cat right there is God. Okay. As long as you believe there's a higher power, that's the only thing. And the reason for that being is that there's something to answer to. There's something bigger than us that you're trying to understand, at least partially. We're never going to know 100%, but there's something above us, wiser, and we're just trying to find more knowledge to get closer to that. Like I said, I can go on for hours and hours.
Sure.
And hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing, man. I talked to a lot of people.
There's so much that's unknown, and to at least try and find it, the journey itself is fulfilling. It's fun. It's interesting. It can be, disappointing sometimes.
Sure.
And
is it one of those things that, because you're kind of a higher ranked, I'm assuming, like you posted something that you were recently given a new title?
I wouldn't say that I'm like higher ranked. Just another thing is like, all right, I'm a master mason. I'm a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason. People who don't know might think that I'm at the higher levels. A 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason is still just a master mason. It's a different body of masonry that you get to join when you're a master mason. I'm an officer of my lodge. I'm the senior warden, and
there we go, senior warden.
That's
the one I read.
That's just, I'm an officer of the lodge. That means that, like, technically in the officer's line, I would be so-called second in command. If the master of our lodge can't make it, that means I run the lodge. But am I better or higher up than anyone else who belongs to my lodge? No. We're all just brothers.
You just have different responsibilities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like a administrative responsibility. Last year I was the junior warden, so I cooked for everybody. Every meeting that we had, I cooked for everybody. That was one of my biggest responsibilities. As a senior warden, like I said, if anything happens to the master of the lodge, I step in and run the lodge. It's like the vice president.
Okay.
Okay. Something happens to the master, and that's just the title. Then I jump in and handle it.
So, of what you are allowed to say, or speak about, so what's going on at these meetings? What is it? Just more information? Is it like, hey, so yesterday I figured out this math equation and I realized that,
Nah,
what?
Again, people would be so disappointed at the lodge meeting. It's like a business meeting. We read minutes.
Okay.
We talk about what we're going to do next month. We have this charity event, or we have this education coming up with the lecturer coming in. There's nothing like super secretive about what we're doing in there. The only thing that's secretive is like the ritual aspect. The secrets are in the secrets.
Sure. And the ritual aspect too kind of throws people off, but I believe in it. I believe in rituals for everyone.
Everyone has a ritual, whether they think so or not.
Yeah, even if it's just wake up, brush your teeth, blah blah blah. That's a ritual.
I wake up every morning and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
that's a ritual. As a human being, you just create these rituals, and you don't even realize that it's a ritual. But if you really think about it, if you did one thing different in your morning ritual, you would almost feel thrown off. For the coffee drinkers, what happens if you skip your cup of coffee? You're going to be sluggish. You're not going to be as bright-minded because you're missing the caffeine.
Yeah.
You're going to get a headache because you're having caffeine withdrawal. What if you took a left instead of a right going to work?
Yeah. And it's hard to get adjusted, especially for a person like yourself or me, like when you're traveling in the band, waking up in a different town or different situation, you have to figure out new rituals to kind of, separate it from your daily life, your house life.
Exactly. So you create a ritual within your own ritual. Yeah. When you let go of the old definition of ritual, like, oh, they're doing something to invoke a spirit or something like no, man, it's like you wake up and you brush your teeth. That's your morning ritual.
Yeah, like my family, Cuban family, my mother was very into the Santeria.
Oh, cool.
And they had their series of rituals that they do for certain things. And I'm not into Santeria. I don't believe in it, but I believe that it works for those people.
Yeah.
Like if you're into it and you're doing a certain series of ritual things that you have to do, I've seen it work for them,
Dude, there's so much that's unexplainable. And like you said, like you saw it work, even though you don't believe in it, you saw it work.
Yeah.
I've seen things work, again, nothing that I've ever seen work is like nefarious, evil, and anything like that. Positive things, like positive thinking, will something to happen in it. And it really does happen, man. This universe works in such weird ways, I was raised Catholic. I still have a Christian faith. I still pray, but I don't go to church.
Right.
My prayers are more like meditations now. Which when you dig deep into it, like the early Christians, that's what they were doing. And Jesus is a great teacher. And if you really read what's in between the lines, you kind of start realizing the truths, and it's not just about this God's the path to heaven, right? And that's the path to hell. Like that's so silly.
Yeah,
there's room for everybody everywhere. You're gonna tell me that someone who was born somewhere else without that knowledge deserves to go to hell? Nah, get out of here.
No. And there's things that you feel within you that are wrong. Like there's. And like, who's going to tell me what's right or wrong? Well, you tell yourself.
Exactly.
Like, you feel it. Like, hey, murdering an animal or something for no reason, like no survival reasons, feels wrong.
Absolutely. If I go outside and I, strangle my neighbor's dog, that's wrong.
Yeah.
If a dog is attacking me, is it wrong for me to
self-defense?
No, of course not.
Right.
Yeah. There's inalienable truths. Water is wet, fire is hot. Killing someone is wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're defending yourself, then it's not wrong.
Yeah, like I like what you said too, that Jesus is a good teacher. Like even if you don't follow the religion, you just read up on the character of whatever, the person,
exactly.
And you notice that he never had any malicious intent. At least even if it's fiction to you,
exactly,
the character never had any malicious intent. It was always to help people out and be good to one another and all that stuff. Like, how can you not like that?
It's like reading the Buddha. What the Buddha says. Like, how are those things wrong? Like destroying your own ego. Like the ego is the most divisive thing about human beings.
It's so bad.
It's like I'm trying really hard to say like I'm trying really hard not to say things like, "Oh, that music sucks," or "Oh, that band sucks." It's obviously really good to someone else. Like the biggest one is like Nickelback. Oh, they're terrible. They suck. Blah blah blah. Really? sold 25 million records.
Yeah,
you're telling me he
someone's
sucks?
buying them.
You're telling me that he doesn't write hits for other people? It's like hits after hits after hits. Obviously, they don't suck.
Yeah.
So to say someone else is wrong or to say that's not right, like really, like it's right to someone else.
Yeah.
So all these, silly religious fanatics, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I've been as I've been getting older, I've been changing my way of thinking that way too. Just I've never been a big like egotistical type of person, but like you said, just even criticizing someone else's stuff, that's your ego too.
Exactly.
And I've met a lot. I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of people even people that are doing things that I don't like, and then I meet them and I talk to them and I get to know them, and it's like, oh, they're great. They're great people, and what they're doing is working. They're doing it.
Yeah.
So who am I to be a judge or be mean about it? Like if the dudes, everybody knows, and I've been very vocal about it in the past when I was younger, that like I didn't like Nickelback. So, but that doesn't, like if the dude wants to talk to me on the podcast, I'm going to talk to the dude on the podcast, because who knows? He's a great guy. What would I know?
Yeah.
So
you can learn something from anybody,
exactly.
And why close yourself off from that? It's like someone who, again, going back to the religion thing, why say this is the only path to heaven when you can learn something from someone else that could be just as influential?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Going back to Buddha, like what does the Buddha say that's bad? Nothing
Really.
It's like how to live a better life for yourself, how to be virtuous. Jesus was only trying to teach us how to be virtuous. Yeah. Whether you believe that he's the son of God or not, like you said, he was saying some nice things.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I want to wrap up a little bit. I usually try to keep these to an hour, but you own a tattoo shop.
Yep. Artifact Tattoo in Santa Clarita, California. It's like 30 minutes north of Hollywood.
Nice.
If you want to check out the shop online, it's just artifacttattoo.inc, I-N-K.
And you go up there like
I'm there all the time.
All the time.
You can, if you're a fan, you want to just come say hi, I'm usually there. I don't pierce, I don't tattoo. I run the business side of things, and that works out a lot in my favor because I can focus on the business side of the industry where I'm creating work for my employees. I have a big responsibility in not just making sure that the business is up and running, but now, I love my employees. Like I have the greatest staff that I can right now. They've all got my back and I've got theirs. I have a responsibility to them to make sure they're making enough money to make a living, if you ever want to check us out, we're also on Facebook. I think it's facebook.com/artifactfcv maybe, or just Artifact. If you just Google Artifact Tattoos, you'll find me.
Okay. I gotta check it out actually. Since I moved out here from Florida, I lost my artist that would do all my tattoos. I've got a lot of them so far, but I didn't finish I wanted to do sleeves on both arms, and I just never finished it because I moved out here. And I've even thought about like, hey man, if I fly you out here, like, would you come do it at my house or something? But it's not even sanitary.
Yeah, I mean, we take a lot of precautions at the shop to go above and beyond, like even like the state standards. So
yeah,
if you wanted a tour of our sanitation sterilization processes, we can give you that. Nice. And I do suggest people, especially if it's your first tattoo, go to a reputable place with a reputable artist.
Yeah. Don't do it with your friends.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I've gotten tattooed in my house. But the people who tattooed me are really, really good friends, and I know I can trust them. If you're a first timer, definitely go to a reputable place. Yeah. And that's because we're going to take care of you. Even if you don't come to Artifact Tattoo, I want you to, but even if you don't come to me, I want you to go somewhere that's safe.
Yeah.
You know, where you're not going to run the risk of getting some gnarly infection or,
Sure. Yeah.
you know, God forbid, a disease.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I made the mistake of I recently went to Mexico to see my father, but before that, it had been 10 years, and that's where I got my first visible tattoo, because I had a few on my back, but I got this seed of life, not the tree or the branches, but just the seed in Mexico, and the dude didn't have needles. He did it with guitar string. It was just not sanitary, but
And painful.
Yeah, it was super painful, but I was, you know, blessed enough that I didn't catch anything off. But after that, I'm like, yeah, I can't keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we've all done
Nonsense.
shiesty things in the past, you know. Put yourself in risk, but you learn better.
Yeah. But yeah, anybody looking in the area to get a tattoo, swing by there, check them out online. Keep an eye on El Niño. You guys have new music, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, new music's coming out this year. If you want to follow El Niño online, facebook.com/El Niño.
And you could just put ILLNINO.
Yep, you don't need the Enya.
You don't need the Enye.
No. On Instagram, I think it's El Niño Official or Official El Niño. It's one of the two. You can follow us there. We do, if you're reaching out to the band, we run all our own social media. We don't get back to everybody, obviously. There's a lot of people, you know, talking. But we do run everything, and we do interact with our fans a lot. So if you get a response, it's one of us.
Cool.
Yeah, be on the lookout for new music. Keep up on our social media sites. Our .com is being redone right now, so I don't suggest you go to elnino.com. You're going to get a blank page.
Oh, okay.
For Artifact Tattoo, it's artifacttattoo.inc. Instagram, it's at Artifact Tattoo SCV. You can get my Instagram, and that's at R_Diego Verduzco.
What's the R for?
That's my first name that nobody knows. Just kidding. My first name's Raul. My whole name's Raul Diego Verduzco. For all the El Nino fans that didn't know, my first name is Raul.
Gotcha.
It's like my dad.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Follow me on there. Follow the shop. Follow the band. Like I said, like the band runs its own media. I run my own media. You know, we're always talking back and forth, and you do get an answer eventually.
Yeah, and if you have any interest in the world of Freemasonry, I know you've been posting stuff. Like there was a seminar or something.
Yeah, we let's see. If you go to nm604.org, that's my lodge in California under the Grand Lodge of California. I'm one of the members at the lodge who helps run the education. So a lot of our educations are actually open to the public.
Nice.
People don't realize that. Also, our stated meeting at the lodge is the first Wednesday of every month, and we have a dinner which is completely free. You can always swing by if you have questions on Freemasonry. Feel free to ask any of us. You know, it's not as secretive as people think.
Yeah.
There's a lot we can talk about. Obviously, I can't talk about ritual and stuff like that.
Sure.
But there's a lot I can talk about, and I'm always happy to talk about masonry, music, art. You know, I can become a talker. Most of the time I'm introverted, but I can become a talker when you get me rolling.
Cool.
Let's see. If you want more information, there's freemason.org. Don't believe everything you see on Google and YouTube, especially YouTube. Man, there's so much bogus stuff on there. We don't sacrifice babies or goats or anything like that.
You're not part of the Illuminati?
There's no Illuminati anymore. There's no Masonic God. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know, ask questions. We're open.
Cool, man. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to your place and for taking the time to talk.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
All right, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers.
Cheers.